do you have hopes and dreams to become a full-time athlete, or is that not something you'd want to do?
Well, I do have a couple of reasons why I do not want to be a full-time athlete. It's not that I don't like to be or that I don't like to train more because this is what I like, this is what I love, and on the weekends I try to train like twice a day when it's possible, and what is not possible during the week. Um, but I also like my job, what I'm doing here. I also have, um, yeah, goals for my working career. So I do not want to quit, um, the job completely. Maybe I'm thinking about maybe reducing the hours, during the week, so maybe that I work, like, 4 days a week and then have 1 more day for training. This
Mhm.
would be a possibility, but getting a full-time athlete is not on my schedule in the moment.
Okay, okay. Is part of the reason for that as well that it would add pressure to that side of your life, or would you not feel that?
Yeah, could
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah. Um, your training volume, like partly presumably because of that full-time job, your training volume looks like it's some of the lowest in the elites. Uh, it's like around 8.5 hours, like around the right number for you in terms of training per week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still yeah. When I have much time, then it's maybe 2 hours, but actually this 2-hour training is too much for me. I don't feel good with 2 hours of training.
Okay, I was going to ask, do you feel like you would benefit from more training time, or is it you feel like that's a good amount for you?
Mm. I think that's always a matter of recovery too.
Mhm.
How quick can I recover from such a long session? I think 90 minutes is quite good. I mean, my body is used to it, so I know that I can recover quite well from it, and I know that I can start training again the next day. But the longer the training session is, yeah, the more recovery I need, and then maybe I need the rest on the next day too, and then I can just start, yeah, 2 days later with training, and I think that doesn't make any sense, so I think 90 minutes is enough for me in the moment. Um, yeah, but let's see. In the off season, my goal is to Um, yeah, to get a good, basic again. Last off season, I was injured, like I said, so I did not had a real off season. I hope this is, not going to happen this time, and to build, yeah, a better ground for the next season. Yeah, so let's see. But I think 90 minutes is very good for me in the moment.
Okay. With that sort of training volume, do you feel like I spoke to Sean Noble recently on the podcast, who's got a full time job as well? And I think he trains quite intensely to try
Mhm.
and make up for the lack of volume that he can do. Do
Mhm.
you do the same? Do you do a lot of, like you mentioned earlier, do some VO2 max training, things like that? Do you do more of that than you otherwise maybe would if you could train more?
Mm. Again, I think it's also a matter of recovery. When I train more intense, then I have to recover more.
Mhm.
When this is possible, then I think I would do it because I like those intense sessions. Um, but I think that we see with lots of HYROX athletes that they do too much intense sessions and too less of the basic work. So I think that you have to be careful with that.
Okay. Can we talk about some of that basic work that you've been doing that you touched on earlier? And I think I'm right in saying you're working with Bjorn, right?
Right.
Is
Yeah.
it so, okay? So, and that what does he help you with? Is that's more like technique work, is it, and that kind of thing that you're working with him on?
Yes, exactly. We started 1.5 years ago, because of Toby Loudwine, thanks to him. He worked with Björn before, concerning, yeah, the rowing, his rowing technique and ski erg technique, and things like that. And my rowing technique was, yeah, it was not that good before I met Björn. And he is the kind of person who says that you need, that you can get better if you work efficiency on or efficient on the machines, as well as when you run, that you need to focus on your running technique, that it's efficient and that you do not lose too much energy on the run when it gets too heavy and when you come from a workout into the run. So it needs to be smooth and you have to feel good on the runs because it's like 70% of a HYROX, or at least 60% of a HYROX. And yeah, we worked very much on my running technique. I think that was kind of visible on the live stream in Chicago. I felt really, really good on the runs. I thought that I can recover very quickly on the runs so that I can get directly into the workout. And that helped me a lot. And that's also the thing with the ski erg and the rowing. There I do still have a couple of deficits, but I think you cannot change everything. That takes time. And yeah, but I think the results we have seen in Chicago already.
You did look very comfortable on the runs. Is there is there one or two things that you did in training, like any drills or anything that you focused on that you're happy to share that like other people might benefit from that you did to improve your running technique?
That's a good question for Björn, maybe.
Yeah.
But for me, it helped a lot. He teach me a couple of things concerning neuroathletic. If you have ever heard of this,
No.
this is yeah, it's hard to explain. But these are some drills I do before running to be more stable. Because I know that I tend to be too much on the left side. And this is the reason why I always have got pain on the left side. And with these drills, I run directly a little bit more straight. And yeah, it takes just like 5 minutes in my workout before I start running. And that helps me a lot. And that changed so much in my running technique.
Okay, interesting. You mentioned earlier as well about the burpee broad jump technique and working on that. Was there anything specific that you changed there that you can think of?
Um, Yeah, I was very slow in the burpees because I tend to go down very slowly and then came up in kind of a roll. It looks always like this when I'm doing the burpees. And we try to work on getting down very quickly and then getting up very quickly, and getting a break in between this. Um, and also doing the step up, that helped before I tried to get on my knees and then getting up, which is very inefficient for me because I'm very tall
Mhm.
against some other girls. So I did lost a lot of time there. Yeah, so we had to change like kind of my complete technique on the burpees.
Okay, okay. So if you're going to have a rest, it would be in the standing position on a burpee.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
all right, all right. How is your how is your training week structured? Like, are you running every day?
No, definitely not. I run like 3 times a week. I have one long run on Sunday most of the time, and then I have one time threshold training during the week, more interval training, and then another yeah, easy or recovery one. When it comes to a competition, then I start like 5 weeks or 6 weeks before with compromised running too. So this would be my 4th running session over the week. But normally it's 3 days, and then right before the competition, it's 4 days.
Okay,
And yeah. the other threshold day is more for the ergs. So I do threshold at the ski and the rowing as well, so that I have less impact on my body than I would do when I do like twice threshold days for running.
Okay. So that's like one other threshold session, is it? And it's a mixture of the ski and the row.
Yes.
Okay.